think that entrepreneurship is all about the business.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Once you know yourself, who you are, what do you want, what you already know within yourself, you will definitely be successful. That I guarantee you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Entrepreneurs. I'm Ikram here today with my mentor and good friend, Dr. Venga. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the time blocking revolution. How to block your time. We call it, I decided to say the time blocking revolution because I think it is a revolution when you learn how to do it. Good evening, Dr. Venga.
Good evening, Ikram. Good evening.
Would you like to kick off today's session on time blocking?
Yeah, okay. Ikram, let me say like that, no? Even as recent as 2 weeks ago, just 2 weeks ago, there was a discussion by the top scientists in the world, no? on a subject, and they brought in this question of time. You see, we have done a subject on this called the fourth dimension is being time and space. You remember that, right?
Yes.
We talked about it. Okay, these are the scientists. They were exploring the possibility of time and space, and they brought this time. The idea of time came back again, no? They say actually, time is an illusion created by mankind. Time. You cannot, it's not a tangible, you can't hold it together, you can't measure it. The only thing that you can measure is sun up and sun down.
Right.
So they think that it is something. They said a word which was also intrigued me in the sense that they said in the commercial world, economic world, time has been identified as a resource. Time has been has been talked about being very important. That all they agree, but they say time is something that you really cannot put your hand in it.
Right.
It's a kind of an illusion. Like when we are talking now, we are traveling at the same time, meaning that the entire universe is moving. So we are traveling, we are moving.
Yep.
And where we came from, we do not know. Where we are going, we do not know. This is not about life, this is about the universe itself, So they describe this time as a very thing that exists, and therefore the total, there are many things that they discuss about. They say they said you must understand that as we are speaking, time is moving on. But they all recognize the importance of trying to get things done in a specific period of time. So my first advice to everybody as a starter is that, hey, there is no one method of managing the so-called sunrise or sunset, or the clock that we all use, the 24 hours or the 16 hours a day, or what I call a wake time. Okay, each one of us must find a way to manage that resource, which is time, which I call a resource, which is time, which again is intangible. You can't touch it and stop it, or it's a moving thing. So effective method of managing their particular time or day must be done and realized by the individual. Otherwise, a person who doesn't find a method or a way to manage his or her time will be disappointed in life.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Huh?
Yep.
Huh? Okay. Now, Ikram, it is also strange that people seem to realize oh, I have not done this, I have not done that. After that happened, I should have done this, I should have. So it is an inherent thing that has been happening to us ever since we became human. The second most important thing is that if you don't have a method, some form of method to block your time, say, I will block, as an example, from 10 to 12 o'clock, I'll block and get this done. Or from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I'll block this time and get it done. The kind of that's why I developed a system called a V planner. Okay, if you don't put some things down, you are not going to manage whatever you're doing. The third thing, Ikram, very important for human to understand, is that we have what is known as wake time, 16 hours. Of that 16 hours, Ikram, only in 4 hours of that 16 hours, only 4 hours, you can perform at your peak. Whatever that peak you have, you can only do it for 4 hours a day. Maximum peak. 4 hours. 4 hour. That means it cannot be from 8 to 12. It can be 1 hour, or at 8 to 9, or 10 to 12, or 1 to 2, or 3 to 4, 1 hour. You keep 1 hour here, 1 hour there. 4 hours in a day, you can peak at your performance, whatever you do.
Right.
The second 4 hours, you will only perform 50% of your ability. The third 4 hours, you can only perform about 20, 30%, and finally about 10 to 20% at the last 4 hours. So in this, that 4 hours I'm talking about, if you can block it properly and utilize the time to peak and whatever you're doing, you'll do very well. Okay?
Right.
The fourth thing, the last thing is that never ever believe that you can multitask. This is an illusion. In a controlled study done, okay? In a controlled study done, and when I say control, mean the number of people was very properly selected, and control meaning they can measure it. They only found less than 2% of the people can actually perform multitasking with one observation to something that they are very familiar with. Okay? They can answer an email or do something which has been routinely done. They have knowledge of it. At the same time, attending to a phone call or doing something. Multitasking, two things. The example they gave is a very defined examples, okay? Now, we drive a car, we are on the phone, observing that we are on the road. These are habits that we have created, how to drive, and we observe the road from time to time and make calculation. We are doing a lot of multiple things within us. At the same time, answering the phone, which is an active call you are making, okay?
Right.
That example can only exist in someone who's routinely do something. So based on this, let me say, there is nobody who has been able to say there is one method in time management that is effective to all people. There is no such thing. No? Each one need to find his own way. And one of the way we're discussing tonight is this time blocking revolution. Now, my view is like that. Okay. Thing is now, if you want to block time, you remember the 4 hours I talked about just now?
Yep.
First, you got to block that 4 hours, meaning maybe 9 to 10, 1 hour, 11, 12, another hour, 3 to 4, one more hour, okay? And say 7 to 8, another hour.
Can I quickly ask you a question here, Dr. Venga? How do you know what times to block?
Very good question, Ikram.
Or rather, your most
Extremely good.
productive time?
Exactly. The 4 hours you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
That is so crucial, Ikram. Okay. First of all, we all as human, we will peak in the morning. Okay. Our peak starts at 8 o'clock. Okay. But you cannot peak and remain at that until 12 o'clock. Cannot. Because why? You're using your mental ability, your intellectual ability, a lot of things. So the 2 hours in the morning, which I mentioned just now, either 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 and 11 to 12, those 2 hours should be in the morning already. It could be 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 and 11 to 12, 2 hours, to which you will do your best, your very best of whatever work you're doing. Not meeting, not doing some routine stuff, okay? 2 hours. Balance it, you will get 1 hour effectively in the afternoon. That would be between 3 to 4 o'clock or 4 to 5. And the next 1 more hour, Ikram, is when you go home. Your family, you're at home. You will be 100% at your full. So effectively of the 4 hours, 3 hours you give to your job, 1 hour you give to your family.
Right.
If not, then you will have not a very good life. Like you may have a life and which is always bothering you, not able, there's always some issues and you're not managing with, okay? And this is important. And Ikram, in the blocking of time, one of the major problem is that we have too many gadgets and too many things that are distracting us. It could be your phone, it could be your email, it could be anything that you are using, and that distracts you.
Right.
And you will realize, Ikram, most people are unable to achieve their goals, whatever, even their company goals or their departmental goal or their personal goals, they're not able to achieve it because they are distracted all the time and
That's
not doing the things that they are supposed to do. Is that true or not?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right or not, huh? Why is it like that? Why is it like that?
Distractions, no focus, not focused on.
Because they are not paying attention to what they are doing. They get distracted by all sorts of things. Ikram, you sometimes get office, you go to an office with a lot of people working, everybody making noise. Are you really concentrating? Can you really concentrate? Cannot, isn't it? Difficult, right?
Yeah.
And also remember when there's lots of demand coming onto you. Now, a salesperson as an example, okay, a salesperson as an example, he's supposed to go and see customers. Now, that's why, in principle, we cannot see more than 6 customers a day. When I say see customers, I mean face to face. And you probably use, for each of that call that you're making, you are doing about 6 hours already.
Right.
2 hours to do reporting, traveling, whatever. So if you're not a very organized person, you can't do 6, you'll do 4 only. Because your traveling is not being very well done, or you ad hoc you do it. So here comes the blocking time. You need to block your time preparing every week, actually, you should sit down and plan and prepare your call. But on the other hand, a salesperson dealing with customer service, let's say the telecommunication or something, where you are stationed there to handle calls coming in from customers, you can never ever block a time like that. But you have to block your time from, say, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, put them into blocks of 2 hours or something like, in which, while attending the call, you may try to maybe do a few things. Like, for instance, as an example, you're filing something or doing some other thing related to your job, or you are sending off some information to for somebody else to get it done. No, you are attending the call, so you're delegating things, and you probably will be able to do, and you will call that multitasking. Sure, it doesn't matter. But your entire time is to spend the 8 to 12 and probably 2 to 4 in the desk attending the calls. Your blocking of time will be at 10 o'clock, I got to dispatch this out completely, must go out. And then from 11 o'clock onward, I got to get all the calls I made, I got to figure out. Or like some other companies can do, on the spot after the call, they immediately delegate this for somebody else to take care of. That kind of things can happen only to a person who is dedicated to what he is doing. At the same time, is an organized person.
Venga, can this time blocking be done mentally? That means I
Cannot.
wake up today, I decide, okay, I'm going to block my time at 10 to 11, 1 to 2 for these tasks.
Cannot, Ikram.
So
The mind,
how should someone do it?
Ikram, the mind, first of all, to explain what you just said, Lana, it's something that human don't understand, Lana. The mind is always computing. It's doing something, Lana. Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
It's a yes, isn't it? It's either working with the kidney or the liver or something in your body. Am I right?
That's right.
It's always engaged in something.
Correct.
Cannot be idle, even when you're sleeping, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Correct. We know the fact. So it has no time to keep information and remember it, Lana. That's why we have trouble remembering things. So blocking time is crucial. So if you are a person who's not very well organized, at least, Ikram, at least block that 4 hours. So in other words, when you go to work from 9 to 10, okay, have an idea what you want to accomplish in that 1 hour. Whatever you got to do. Because if you're written, it's a piece of paper standing in front of you to telling you what to do. And don't tell me, oh, I can do it to the Google. That's all. It's an illusion. You have to have a visual contact because your computer is being used for so many things. Otherwise, you'll have something peeping. Hey, you got to do 8 o'clock. It pops up all the time. If it keeps popping up, you're going to be distracted totally. You understand what I'm saying, Ikram? So blocking of the time, say at least 2 hours in the morning, another hour in the afternoon, 3 hours, for the things that you want to accomplish for the day. If you can do that, you will be a very effective person. That I guarantee you.
Venga, I want to ask you another question. So you've told me once about this theory, which it happens to be a fact, that the tasks that you have or the tasks that you do or the tasks available to you automatically expands to fill up your available time, right?
Correct.
So if you've got 8 hours, you naturally fill up the 8 hours with tasks. But instead, if you're given 4 hours, you will naturally try to finish those tasks within the 4 hours.
Yes.
So my question here is, there's a prerequisite, right, to blocking your time. You cannot just go and simply block time on a daily basis.
Cannot.
Is that prerequisite? It's planning, right?
Yes, yes. In fact, two words, planning and preparing. Planning is thinking. You want your brain to come to terms with yourself. I got to plan for tomorrow, as an example, to see this customer or this particular task I want to do. That's the planning. It starts the process. Then what is the task? Why do you want to do it? How you're going to execute it? And when do you want to do it? What, why, how, and when. So it is preparing and planning. Preparing is thinking. Planning is put it down into a visual thing that you can see. Now, is it easy? It is a habit or some form of a kind of a discipline that you have to develop within yourself. Ikram, it is important. Huh? Humans have no discipline. Do you agree?
I do.
Okay. We have no discipline. Now, it is said again and again. And again, there are data in the world, especially Western data. They in the Western world, they say this. Only a disciplined person can succeed or will succeed. Now, in their success is usually measured with money, how many buildings they own and how much money they have accumulated. Okay, this to them is success. But if you talk to an Indian fellow, to him success is moksha, liberation. So it's two totally different kind of philosophy, right? If you take the Western perspective, what you own, what you have, none of which you can take with you.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of the Indian, he is looking for where he's going. Moksha. So it's totally different. But in this context, we work for people. Or we are a business person having our own business. Whichever the case is, in this case, when we are working for somebody, he is paying you a wage. Now, because he's paying you a wage, he demands that because he buys your time, you are supposed to, with your intelligence, deliver for his salary an added value to what he pays you. If you don't give him that value, then he will not pay you or he will not reward you. He'll find a way to replace you.
Right.
You understand?
Yep.
Now, let me say this, Ikram, that why is it some people are not getting job? Why?
I think it's a combination of things. But primarily the root cause is a lack of planning.
Meaning that they have not been brought up in a way that they have been disciplined how to use their life. Like, as an example, there is no a scheduled way. Breakfast is this time, lunch is this time, dinner is that time, play time is like this, study time. There is no discipline in that home. You do what you want to do. So when we come with that environment, we have difficulty. People do not come to work on time. We have to invent machine to control that, isn't it? First with a card, second with some kind of a policeman or some security guard taking down your name, what time you came in and all that. To today's extent, by AI and you come to work, what time you came in. And that is linked to a HR program, and then calculated, salaries are calculated. If you're 15 minutes late, there's a deduction and all that. So there's lots of, we need some kind of electronic devices to control us. and manage us. Isn't it an irony, right?
Yeah.
We develop the AI to control us. We don't know how to control ourselves. It's a pity, isn't it, Ikram?
Of course.
Now, I must remind the listeners now, Ikram, the blocking time has its own issue. It has got its own issue. Okay? While it can solve problem, it's got an issue. First of all, blocking time will, in a way, eliminate procrastination. If you block it, the time, and do it, you block your time and you do it, then you will eliminate procrastination. Agree?
Agree.
Right. Agree. Okay. Now, then, Ikram, in blocking time, it is also crucial that you don't block chunk of time. Say 3-4 hours at one chunk like that. It may not work for you.
Right.
Why does it not help you? Because you may not be able to do all the tasks that you want to get done. Okay? But what you are doing is you are creating a habit and a discipline in you to block the time and make sure it's done. So the minimum number of things that you can accomplish in the day, if you put it down, will happen. So as I said, maybe 2 things in the morning and 1 thing in the afternoon as a starting point. Then you can slowly attempt a little bit more. But it takes time to develop that skill. That's what I'm saying. It won't just happen because you want something.
Right.
Yeah. Now, also, just to quote a few, you ever heard of this fella called Benjamin Franklin?
Yes.
What's he famous for?
Electricity.
Very good. You remember, he was, during his time, Ikram, during his time, there were many people engaged in this, trying to find electricity. You are aware of that? Okay?
No,
You are aware of that, don't you?
I wasn't.
Yeah. A lot of people were trying, but he's the only one who succeeded. Because the key to electricity is to find the right metal that can spark light. Isn't that what do you call that? Electrical bulb has got a little thing in it.
Filament, is it?
Was that filament, right? To find the right metal. So what he did was very clever, which was he had
Filament.
a record book in which all the metal he tested, he recorded down, a kind of a block, he put it down. So every time he picked up a new metal, he didn't have to test it. He'll check his book to find out whether or not this had been tested before.
Mm.
And therefore, he was ahead of many of them trying to do the same thing. You understand?
Right.
Then, of course, we can, once he had discovered that, then came direct current, indirect current, all that, okay? Then there are other experts. But Benjamin Franklin is probably the first person in the world who with his book, did this block of time. He blocked his time every day to pick up a new metal, to check, and then do it. This has been tested, recorded.
Right.
But Benjamin Franklin, but there are other people. Steve Jobs is one of them. He blocked time in a day, and his method is very simple. It was 10 to 11, something like that. 10 to 11 to 12. Okay, in which case he will only do what he chose to do. He will not do anything else. He doesn't meet people. He doesn't do it. He wants to do only that every single day.
Right.
He also tried that. And he succeeded like that. Most people that you can read of, successful people that are, come on, okay? Even the recent people, okay, even as we speak now, there are some, they'll tell you from 10 or 9 to 11, don't bother me. You can never reach, including their own people that are interacting with him.
Right.
They have specific time in which they will interact and something which they will not interact. They will just spend their time doing it. So there is method to this, no? So what I'm saying is, by blocking time is important, but it also means that whatever you block to do, you must do it, no?
Right.
If you don't, then you'll transfer over to next day, and you'll blame everybody else for interruption. I planned this, but my boss came and did this, and a whole lot of stories.
Yep.
If you tell your boss, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I got to finish this because it's needed for tomorrow. What do you think your boss will tell you?
He's going to most probably say okay and agree.
Okay. So it's a question of knowing what you have to do and getting it done.
That's right.
If not, then we are just passing off time. Now, then there is, you can see some people have a very disciplined individual can say 8 to 9, I do email. 9 to 10, I'll attend to customer. 10 to 11, I will leave it with nothing on. People might do that. But as I told you in the beginning, every single individual need to find a way to find what suits that person in his job currently. There is no such thing as I come to work and tell boss, tell me what to do, I do. Then you're a laborer. If you're a laborer, you don't have to think. I tell you what to do. We have a lot of executives who are laborers. You know that, isn't it, Ikram?
Yeah.
If I have to employ you and tell you what to do, why do I need to employ a human? I don't have to, right?
That's
I
right.
might get a robot and then program the robot do this over and over again, the same thing. You see, that's why AI is taking over a large amount of jobs, which are routine. One very quick example, Ikram, accounting, no? Last time you got to key in, isn't it? The invoice, this, that, no? Right or not? Nowadays, okay, very simple. You key in the name of the customer, shoop, it'll appear, all data appear already. Then you take some scanner, you scan into the barcode, boop, everything inside already. And the last step, press one key, invoice done already. Automatically, the processing unit takes over. It knows what stock to reduce, what stock to order, the whole bloody A to Z, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of people have no more job already. Now they become account analysis, accounting financial guys. That the whole title has changed, right?
That's right.
It's no more I key in, no bookkeeping, no need. Cash flow, no need. It knows how much bank, the money, all the bank going, it knows, artificially done already.
That's right.
I'm sure you don't do cash flow, do you?
I do look at, I don't do it, but I do look at my cash flows.
You look at the big whaler, the total amount, the balance, what's coming in, what's going out, those kind of things. Not into details, right? Who has paid, who has not paid. Do you do that? Okay.
Yep.
But there are, okay, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? So it's a question of, you must find a way in which you become effective. That's the sum total of what I'm saying.
Very good. Vega, we've got 2 more minutes before we have to wrap up. Is there anything you want to say to close today's Time Blocking Revolution
Yes.
episode?
Ikram, in order to block time, manage yourself, in order for you to be productive, okay, you need one very important thing, a discipline. You need a discipline which you have to create yourself. Nobody can help you. Having got that discipline, you must do three things. Number one, whatever your thoughts that you have, which comes to you to trigger you to do it, write it down. Okay. Okay. And this is the process, like the process of writing it down. Okay. Secondly, you must take that process. Hey, which of this I want to achieve today?
Right.
And get that done. Second process. So first is writing process. The second is goal process. And the third is to review every time you do a task. Can I do the task better? Is there another way to do it? When you do the review, you upgrade yourself. You will realize, hey, there's a better way to do it. There's a better way to organize this. Ikram. So it is something. So writing process, goal process, and review process. Something that each human must do in order to have, number one, a happy life, really happy. You've done it, you're happy, and you are delivering results. That's my advice, Ikram.
Thank you very much, Venga.
And with that, may I say, Selamat Puasa, which is going to happen in a few days' time. Okay, and then I'll see you, all of you again, users, during the Puasa month again, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So thank you very much, Venga, for today's very enlightening episode. I hope it was useful to you, our viewers, the Time Blocking Revolution. If you've got any questions at all about the episode or any of the points that were raised, please feel free to post them in the comments section, and we'll be happy to respond, either Venga directly or myself. Our next episode is happening on April 3rd. That's the first Wednesday of the month, as usual, at 8 p.m. Thank you again for joining us today.